Mr. Speaker.
What's the pleasure of the gentleman from Anakalusugang Party List?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Apologies to the Honorable Speaker Alan Cayetano. Pasensya na po, Speaker Alan, but I object to your offer of resignation. Naintindihan ko na may nakikita kayong bad faith batay doon sa inyong speech, Mr. Speaker, na sinasabi ninyo supposedly ang announcement ay manggagaling sa inyo, sa inyong opisina ngayong araw. Pero tama din po kayo dahil sa kagabi pa lamang, marami na po mga nagpo-post ukol po doon sa pagsasabi na nagkaroon na ho ng palitan at ito daw po ay direktiba ng ating Pangulo. Pangalawa, Mr. Speaker, I would just like to remind you, with all due respect, that you are not an appointee of this Congress. Inelect po kayo ng 266, 266 na mga kasama natin, labas po. So, umigit kumulang 300 kasama dito sa Kongreso. So, the responsibility, Mr. Speaker, is not just to the President. May responsibilidad po kayo sa mga kasamahan ninyong bumoto at nakisama sa inyong liderato dito sa ating Kongreso. Pangalawa, Mr. Speaker, I hate to say this, you said that you are indispensable and that this Congress can function with a co-pilot. I'm sorry, Mr. Speaker. Yung napagkaisa niyong dati with your gentleman's agreement, iba po ang sirkumstansya at kalagayan natin sa ngayon. Sa ngayon po, ang ating bansa, ang ating Kongreso, ay nasa isang barko na dumadaan sa ilalim ng bagyo. We have not passed the storm. We are still traversing the ocean. Marami pa ho tayong problemang kinakaharap. Marami pa ho tayong problema na dapat sagutin para sa ating ekonomiya, mga sagutin pangkalusugan na kailangan natin gawin. And as you have mentioned, I did not campaign for you. At that time, I was with candidate Martin Romualdez. But throughout the months, na-navigate niyo po ang Kongreso sa pagdaan natin sa COVID, Bayanihan Part 1. Yung pong pagpapaayos natin sa Social Amelioration Program, ginawa din po natin yan. Yung ABS-CBN, andito po si Congressman Marcoleta. Napakahirap na ibalanse ang mga programa at problemang pambansa at ang mga pangangailangan sa pagharap sa pandemya ng COVID na hinarap natin at patuloy na hinaharap. So I'm sorry, Mr. Speaker, sa gitna ng bagyong to, dapat mo bang pinapalitan ang iyong kapitan na isinagawa niya ang pagsasaayos na paglakbay ng ating Kongreso at ng ating bayan? Mr. Speaker, Speaker Alan Cayetano, marami pa tayong haharapin. Marami pa tayong problema na dapat ayusin. And so with that, I move to reject the offer of resignation of Speaker Alan Cayetano.
Mr.
I so
Speaker.
move, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker,
Mr. Speaker,
What's the pleasure?
Honorable Jonathan Alvarado.
maraming salamat Mr. Speaker. Kagaya po ni Congressman Mike Defensor, ako po ay pumapangalawa sa kanyang motion ng objection sa panukala ni Speaker Cayetano na bakantehin ang posisyon bilang Speaker.
There's a motion to reject his offer of resignation, and there's a second to the motion. Any objection?
Mr. Speaker, may I remind our colleagues, those who want a change of leadership should object now. Because if not, this motion is also in support of the leadership of Speaker Alan Cayetano.
There's a motion to reject the offer of resignation of Speaker Alan Cayetano and duly seconded. Those who are in favor to reject the motion, the motion to reject the resignation of Speaker Alan Cayetano, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye!
Those who are against, please say nay. The ayes have it. The plenary decided to reject the offer of resignation of Speaker Alan Cayetano.
Mr. Speaker,
What's the pleasure of the gentleman from Anakalusugang Party List?
to
Honorable
provide
Mike Defensor.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. With the indulgence of my colleagues, to provide a clear outcome on the rejection of the members of the Honorable Speaker's offer of resignation, I move to call for nominal voting the motion to reject the offer of the Honorable Speaker to resign from his position. I so move, Mr. Speaker.
Second,
To
Mr.
call for
Speaker.
nominal voting. Any
Parliamentary inquiry,
Second,
Mr.
Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, parliamentary inquiry.
What's a parliamentary inquiry?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the chair has ruled and has asked the members of Congress whether there was any objection on the motion being pushed by Congressman Defensor. And there was no objection that was recorded. Not even in the Zoom conference, Mr. Speaker. So there is no need already to move for a nominal voting because the mere fact that there was no objection simply tells this House that they are all in support of the leadership of no less than our Speaker, Alan Peter Cayetano. That's all, Mr. Speaker.
I will give the gentleman from Kalusugan Party List to have a rebuttal to the parliamentary inquiry of Honorable Ace Barbers.
Yes, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, the call for a nominal voting, I understand, Mr. Speaker, does not require an objection from the floor. But I agree with the Honorable Barbers. If that is the case, then we have a unanimous vote, if I'm not mistaken, Mr. Speaker. But I leave it to the wisdom of the Speaker on the call for a nominal voting. But with that, Mr. Speaker, because the Honorable Barbers has been a friend of mine since 20 years ago when we were in Congress, here in the House, for which, Mr. Speaker, the Honorable Duterte, then Congressman Rudy Duterte, also resigned, which was rejected by the House. Mr. Speaker, I call for a suspension of the session.
Move to suspend, Mr. Speaker.
Session suspended. Sessions resume. There's a motion to reject the offer of resignation by Speaker Alan Cayetano, and it was seconded. It's an ordinary motion and can be disposed by ayes and nays, and the ayes have it. But there's another motion coming from Congressman Mike Defensor to call for nominal voting to provide a clear outcome on the rejection of the members of the Honorable Speaker. And there was a parliamentary inquiry, not an objection, coming from Honorable Barbers. And the motion was duly seconded by Honorable Alvarado. Thereafter, Honorable Mike Defensor asked the chair, what is the ruling of the chair? To remove doubt and to obviate a member from questioning the previous result of the voting by viva voce by invoking Section 119 on nominal voting, which states that upon a motion of a member duly approved by 1/5 of the members present, there being a quorum, nominal voting on any question may be called. In case of nominal voting, the Secretary General shall call in alphabetical order the names of the members who shall state therefore as their names are called. The chair ruled that we will have a nominal voting with respect to the question to reject the proposition to reject the offer of resignation for the Speaker. That's the ruling of the chair. The question: those who are in favor to reject the offer of resignation of the Speaker shall vote yes. And those who wanted the Speaker to resign and accept the resignation of the Speaker shall vote no.
Mr. Speaker.
Uulitin ko po sa Tagalog. kung sino man po na mga kasamahan nating mambabatas ang sumasama sa motion previously ni Honorable Mike Defensor na huwag tanggapin ang ino-offer na resignation ni Speaker Alan Cayetano, boboto po kayo ng yes o ng oo. At kung kayo naman po ay pumapayag na siya ay mag-resign na, boboto kayo ng hindi. The Secretary General is hereby directed to call the roll of members for nominal voting on the motion to reject the offer of resignation of Speaker Alan Cayetano. So ordered. With 184 affirmative votes, 1 negative vote, 9 abstention, the motion to reject the offer of resignation of the Honorable Speaker is hereby approved.